it's just us two.
It's just a nice easy today.
We're back. We're the Good Boys, podcast number 6. It's your Good Boys. You know us personally, and we're going back. Going a little chill today, right, Tyler?
It's a nice easy day. It's been nice and beautiful today.
Yeah, man.
Weather's been beautiful.
Dude, fuck, man. 77 degrees in Arizona. Can't complain about that.
But, like, it's, what, mid-May, right?
May 17th. Yeah.
Jeez. Like,
isn't it weird how fast this year is, like, flying by already?
a little bit.
Scary.
Like, it's a little weird.
Doesn't it feel like every year goes by fast, though?
Yeah, but everybody that's older than us always says, like, the older you get, the faster. Like,
it does, though. Like, I feel like that's true, though. Like, we're, like, my birthday's already passed. Your birthday's coming up, which will feel like next week, you know?
Yeah, I'll be 23 this year.
I'm saying Aladdin next week. How? This film was announced 2 years ago, and now it's finally here, and it doesn't even feel like that.
Was it really?
Yeah. Think about this, dude. Like, do you remember when, like...
Think about when Infinity War first came out.
That was a year ago. And then I remember we all walked out. We have to wait a fucking year? Oh, we've seen Endgame already.
Or what about, like, when Game of Thrones... Game of Thrones Season 7 ended. Mm-hmm. And we had to wait.
Felt forever.
We're like, fuck.
And it's here.
Yeah.
And then it's another one.
And it's about to end.
Yes. One episode left, which we'll talk about. But it's weird. Like, I like it, but I also don't. Because, like, Gears of War 4, do you know when that game came out?
Oh, God.
It's going to make you feel old.
Oh, no.
Do you want to guess how many years it's been?
Oh, I'm gonna feel sick. How many years?
3 years.
Oh,
doesn't that feel like yesterday when we were playing that game together and I kept dying because I was Leroy Jenkins in it?
Well, just that game was so hard because I played it when it first came out. I didn't beat it. I didn't play all the way through. Mm-hmm. But like, when
you never beat it?
No.
Oh, so good.
I didn't really. I bought the Xbox for my brothers for Christmas, and at the old house, that's when they had it, and I never played it.
I missed that house. I like
that house. Was huge,
dude. That house was huge. This house is pretty huge too. Yeah. I think this is a nicer house.
This house isn't as big,
but that house had a lot of memories to it.
Yeah, I lived. I
missed your little couch.
I lived in that house for so long.
I know. It's weird when you move. Like when I move out of this house that I'm like living at right now. Like, been there probably 10 years of my life. It's weird, you know. Like, I remember when we moved out of my 2-story house in California. It was weird because like that was the house I was pretty much born in and grew up in, and then you move and you're like, well, fuck this. I don't want to move somewhere fucking hot. Yeah. Have I ever told you this? Like, my parents did not. I don't remember them telling me that we were moving. I just remember I left school. Hey, get in the car.
Oh, Jesus.
And all of a sudden, it was really fucking hot.
Damn.
And I'm like, we're not in California anymore.
You moved states.
Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah. But not only that, but like, well, not blah, blah, blah. It's like, God, I keep on saying that. Think about, like, the passage of time from when you left California to here.
It's weird. I don't know how I feel about it.
Like, and then just think about, like, when we first met. Back in 7th grade.
And it doesn't even feel like that
like,
feels like it.
7th grade doesn't even feel like.
I forget that it's almost been 4 years since we graduated, or it has been now, hasn't it?
It'll be coming up, yeah.
With this next graduation, and that's weird to me. Well, 2020 it'll be 4 years officially, but
and then it's gonna be 4 years, and also like going on social media, everybody graduated this year. It seems like
the last of the people we knew. Oh, and like, even college too.
That's what I'm talking about. No. That's what I'm talking about. Like, for college, like, everybody, like, as old as we are, and it's in college, like, graduated, and now
like,
they're
certain
going.
People take professions.
But now that's what they're going to do. They're going into the overgrad.
Which I'll give like a little shout out, like Amir.
Yeah.
It's so cool to see that he's being a teacher.
I can't believe he's being a teacher.
And that's awesome though, because like now thinking about it, I'm like, I can see him being a teacher.
Yeah.
And that's great for him because like
he always said he wanted to.
Oh really? See, I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure if I mean if he sees.
Well, I know him and Mike listen to this. So
okay.
So
I think then I think he might have.
It'd be cool to get him on here and talk about that because a little bit because I kind of always like I've always looked at wanting to be a teacher, but not till later on. Like
well, just to get a different perspective on like him. He's like one of the people that
messed around in class.
Oh,
sometimes.
Well, like he was such he was literally like one of the funniest people. He would
Top 5 funniest kids in high school.
Easy. Like, he always was joking around, and like, but the best thing about him, he meant no harm. He has always been the funniest jokester, clown, always messing around, always trying to bust your balls, but never meant, like, at least in
And
my
never
instance,
hurting your feelings.
That's what I meant. Like, he never meant any harm. At least when I have every interaction has been nothing but like just trying to bust my balls, and never.
But in a very funny way. Like, if he doesn't know you, he's not gonna bust your
Oh
balls.
yeah,
like,
yeah, for sure.
But if he knows you, like, he's very cool about that. Like, I ran into him a couple months ago at a bar.
Yeah,
Awesome dude.
I think,
and it was funny. He was the DD for him and Colton Gonzalez, and I think Mike was there too. Mike was gone, but it was like cool interacting with them and talking because I was like pretty sober too. And I don't even know if Mike remembers that. He came up and hugged me and grabbed my butt. And he was like, "Let's get on, man."
I think I saw them over at Champs on Gilbert Road.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a few. Like
They're just, it's cool. But it's cool seeing where everyone goes.
Oh, yeah. It's like shocking in a way. Because like, holy shit, time has really...
Do you ever wish you started stuff earlier? Like, I wish I started YouTube and film critic stuff earlier. I really do. I think... I always think about, like, what if I would have started this just a little bit earlier?
Yeah, but at the same time, yes, you wish you could start it earlier, but you are also smarter the day before you or yesterday. Yeah. So I want to say, like, yeah, I understand what you mean. You wish you would have started a little bit earlier. Maybe you would have gotten a little bit more experience. But the point of the matter is that you did start it nonetheless.
Which that's why I always say,
and like if you would have started it earlier, you're not gonna. Which
that's why I tell everyone.
Maybe
like,
I don't know.
Anyone who I know, like, I mean, film's always been a part of my life. I always remember this. I was always fucking mad at you guys for doing this. I just remember one time I wasn't mad. I was salty. I came over. It was you, me, Curtis, and George. Well, no, I was the last one there because I was at like work or some shit. Because I fucking work all the fucking time, and I came in. We were all talking, and it made a movie reference. And I think George handed you a $5 bill. I was like, what the fuck was that for? And he's like, oh, we had a bet to see how long it would take for you to make a movie reference. And I was like, fuck you guys. But it is true. Because, like that's been my life for a lot of my thing. Like, yeah, I love movies. Yeah. I've definitely fallen in love with more movies, like, as I've grown older.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, like, I've had to go back and revisit classics. There are films I hadn't seen till just a couple of years ago. That's because I had the accessibility. I got a job. I can pay for it now. I don't have to ask mom and dad, hey, can I have like $5 to go buy The Shining? Because, your 6-year-old son wants to watch it. Yeah. Like, I think we all have moments of where, like, I think movies have affected almost everyone in some sort of way. And in some way, like, you have an early memory of watching a movie. It's like, do you remember the first movie you ever watched in theaters? Or, like, maybe had an interaction with at home? Because, like, personally for me, like, one of my favorite ones is, it's not my first, like, my first film in theaters was Toy Story 2. And I remember actually being scared to go to the movie theaters. Like, I remember my parents took me in this dark fucking room, and I was like, what do we watch? Like, what is this place? Like, I thought I was going to the doctor's or something.
I'm going to be completely 100% honest with you. The earliest memory I have of seeing a movie in the movie theater, the earliest, mind you.
I don't know how scared I am with this.
The first movie I remember going to see in the movie theaters, Freddy vs. Jason.
Yeah. I didn't see that in the theaters. But see, the first... So... The Toy Story was obviously my favorite, my first one. My Toy Story 2 was my first, because did you know Toy Story 1 came out in 1995?
Yeah.
Weird. So, like, I remember every Halloween, like, AMC would have a bunch of horror films before they got fucking Walking Dead and Breaking Bad and all that, but it was, like, always horror. Like, 31, and same with Sci-Fi Channel. So my dad used to condition me with that. We had a pull-out couch, a pull-out bed couch, and he had me down there. We'd watch a bunch of movies, and 4 of the ones I always remember watching was 13 Ghosts, Gremlins, Creature from Black Lagoon, and of course, Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
That's great.
And Tremors, too, the worm one. And Freaky Long Legs, whatever, 8-Legged Freaks.
You said it was at AMC, where, like, Halloween special, you said?
Yeah, like in the website and stuff. I think it was AMC. Yeah. I think it was AMC on TV. I don't remember.
AMC on TV, I'm pretty sure I think I know what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I remember them having like the best movies during like the Halloween season.
It was awesome.
It was like, for me, that's like, thinking about that's nostalgia. Mm-hmm.
Who's your favorite classical monster? Like, out of Werewolf, Frankenstein, Creature from Black Lagoon, Invisible Man.
So you're like super old school.
Yeah, the old ones. Like, for me, it's still Creature from Black Lagoon or Invisible Man.
As cheesy as it might be, definitely like Frankenstein.
Yeah, I dig that.
Like it just has
it
has a good like
it's a good message
premise
too.
and a message. Yeah,
And
exactly.
honestly, it is kind of scary. Like these films, like at the time,
at the time,
which I'm still excited for. I can never say the word. What's the vampire? Nosferatu. I'm so excited to see what the director of The Witch can do with that. He actually has a new film coming out this year that's black and white with Robert Pattinson, and which we'll be fucking talking about him being Batman. But Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe called The Lighthouse, and I actually think it's a silent horror film.
Oh,
Gonna be weird, but like I kind of trust him on that.
Yeah.
Because I think that film's
gonna if it's like no words spoken, but like you hear is just sounds.
Well, like The Witch,
like
and he's really good. He's really good with sound and score, which I think like that's my thing is that I don't think The Witch is terrifying. I think the score and the sound is terrifying. Remember when Black Phillip rammed the guy and you just hear the bones and everything just ugh.
Well, just the score itself is very
and the cinematography.
The cinematography, but the score is really what can get a movie to really like
it elevates it.
It's I want to say it's like the cherry on top if it's done correctly. Like if you can get like
when its score is really good, you'll remember it.
Yeah, like the score is like the last part that you need to really nail. I feel like scary. Like if you can get like the perfect like bone chilling like the violin that goes in it, like ooh. Like it really does add.
And you look at like films like Indiana Jones who have a memorable score, Star Wars, sure. Even Avengers Endgame and Infinity War has that memorable Avengers-esque like whole thing. But I mean, for me, I think my favorite one is still Indiana Jones.
It's probably See me. I like Star Wars. Like
Star Wars is great though. Which one is your?
Honestly, that's like probably.
I think my. You know what's funny though? You know what my favorite Star Wars score is?
What?
Phantom Menace. The Duel of Fate song is incredible.
Oh, when they're fighting on
Darth Maul. They're going back and forth fighting Darth Maul, him, Qui-Gon Jinn, and Ewan McGregor, Obi-Wan. But I mean, Star Wars that's the Duel of Fates one.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, but I also think just in general, the theme song for Star Wars when it opens up,
yeah,
or the Empire, Darth Vader,
yeah,
those are so memorable.
That's super memorable.
Jaws is really memorable.
No.
Yeah,
that's almost like you forget. That's almost that's actually a instrument being played. I don't know what it is.
Which is weird. Like for me,
I'm pretty sure it's the bass.
The last couple of years, like there's been really good scores, but nothing that's like iconic to that. Like I would say Avengers is, but that's been established since like 2012.
Yeah, there's nothing that's been really
like there's been really good ones. Like last year, First Man had a good one. Beale Street had a really good one. Black Panther had actually a pretty cool one, but nothing that's like sticks out. Well, Black Panther, like the beating of the drums and stuff.
Yeah, but it's
which
not
is cool, but it wasn't.
But it's not so much.
I couldn't go show someone on the street. I could walk on the street and be like,
I don't think it's so much like theme songs for movies. It's now more developed into albums or like music inspired by the film, because Black Panther had like a whole album.
Well, and so did Spider-Verse too.
Exactly, like it was a whole thing,
which even enhanced the film. We don't see a lot of films do these albums.
Like you had Kendrick Lamar on the Black Panther soundtrack. Like I want to say it's more developed into that than
unpopular opinion. I actually like the Spider-Verse album more than the Kendrick Lamar one.
I honestly have not listened to this.
Really?
I cannot
say. The album. So they did a different thing. So the Black Panther album was released before Black Panther.
Yeah.
The difference with Spider-Verse is Spider-Verse was released like 2 weeks after. So I'd seen the film like twice by that point, like because I saw it on an early screen, then I went and paid to see it. I wanted that album so bad. And the thing is though, like Kendrick, though not all the songs are in the Black Panther film. Every song is in that Spider-Verse film. And like as I now listen to each song, I like go back to that moment. I'm like, fuck, I want to go home and watch this film now. I bought 3 copies of that film. I bought 3 copies of Spider-Verse.
Damn.
Because the Steelbook didn't have the 4K.
Jesus Christ.
So I bought the 4K to put in the Steelbook. Then I tried selling the 4K, but no one fucking wanted it because it didn't have the 4K. I was trying to sell it for $10. No one wanted it. And then someone gave me a DVD copy, and I'm like...
You're a devoted fan of your hobby.
I'm a devoted fan of certain films. If I really... Like Toy Story, I just bought all the damn 4K Steelbooks. Did I need the 4K Steelbooks? Nah, but I would love Toy Story. So now I have the VHS, the DVDs, the Blu-rays, and now the 4Ks.
You know, I feel like that's more like an investment now.
It kind of is because, I mean, like, eventually, like, some films you can't buy anymore. You can resell them. There's a lot of VHSs that are super rare out there.
Well,
I'm
just
sure if I
Toy
actually went through
Story
all my
itself.
VHS one, Toy Story, yeah. I mean,
It's
but I just like collecting stuff. I'm out of room, 100%. I remember me and Tyler went through one day, sat in my room, and went around estimating how much my whole room cost.
Like you had roughly.
And that was like 2 years ago.
Like I think like rough estimate was like $5,000.
Oh, it's probably more. It's probably more than that now. Because my
I could be
Funko
wrong.
collection as of right now is like 10,000.
Jesus Christ.
But I don't have as many as I did back then. I just have rarer ones now.
Yeah, true.
So that's the difference.
Jeez.
I go after those
That's
rare ones, man.
That's a nice car. It's a nice.
Or a nice
down
ring
payment.
for a girl one day.
Oh jeez.
Hey, dude, you never know. If I
There's a
need the
down
money,
payment on a house.
fuck, dude, that too. But you gotta still pay for the house after
Yeah.
that.
Then you gotta get someone to help you.
Yeah,
with that
but,
mortgage payment. Yeah, and especially in Arizona, shit. That $10,000 on a down payment on a house might not get you shit in Arizona right now.
Nah.
It's such a busy.
I should just move to LA and just say fuck
I
it.
hate
Put a down
Arizona,
payment on a
honestly.
little shack.
Arizona's become so populated. It's so.
I still
crowded
love
right
the
now.
state though. It's beautiful.
It's a beautiful state, but
Like I
it's
understand why
so
people want to live here.
crowded.
But hey, you California people,
Stay out of the state.
if you don't want to be an actor, go fucking to Colorado, Texas.
Colorado's already like super populated. I honestly want to say it's probably because we have medical marijuana.
Go to Texas, please. Texas is a big state. The last time I was there, there's tons of land with nothing on it.
I can't remember if this.
It is a beautiful
correct or
state,
not. I
though.
can't remember if this is correct or not, but I'm pretty sure. I believe it said that Texas is big enough to put the whole population of the United States in the whole state.
Probably like everyone touching though.
No, I think it was like an 8x8 like room.
That's insane. Someone correct us on that. I'm very curious
I can't
now.
remember.
We're gonna have
there's
to
like
look
some
that up.
crazy statistic.
Yeah.
It might even been the world. I highly doubt it.
I
though.
don't think it's the world.
I
The world's a
highly
little
doubt-
too much. If
That's
we were to
very
put
big.
all of China and Texas,
That's
we'd be
very
fucked.
That's very far fetched.
Yeah, but I think the United States is logical. I can
Yeah.
see that happening because it is the
huge.
biggest state.
But at the same time, it's actually not the biggest state. Actually, Alaska is.
Is it? Oh, real fast. Do you think the California will like fall off one day?
That's what I was wondering.
I've always wondered that every time I talk about states and whatnot.
Well, like because we've had really really nice weather, like we've been talking about. I wonder if like this is nature's way.
You know what
of,
makes me
like,
sad? I hate
slowly,
thinking of
conditioning
animals.
us
They're like, hey, we're gonna
into
fuck you over
California
randomly.
weather, and then eventually California's just gonna sink into the ocean.
Do you
and
think the
now we're
people
gonna
have enough
become-
time to get here,
I was wondering about that. Like,
or do you think it's just like all of a sudden?
I want to? Maybe it's not so much of all of a sudden, but maybe like a crazy ass storm happens.
I think part of California, like everything by the beach, falls.
I feel like a lot will probably fall, but like a big storm will happen, and then the sea level will now just be permanently there. And then like
We're
remember
talking
that
about like doomsday
yes, I
prepping
know.
shit.
And listen, and remember that one movie coming out, Crawl.
Yeah, with the crocodiles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like that.
Did you
except
finally
with
see the trailer for
sharks.
it?
I've already seen
Oh,
it. It's
okay.
it's preposterous.
I can't wait
It's
for it. It looks
preposterous.
horrible.
It's preposterous.
But
It's sort of like that, just exactly how I'm theorizing.
would you
this
rather
whole thing.
be
It's
stuck with
preposterous.
Sharknado, like in a real life situation, Sharknado happening, or Crawl? I would go with Crawl.
Well, in a real life scenario, Crawl is the most realistic one.
I'm just saying as a what if scenario, not a real life scenario. I guess
Sharknado is not It's not possible.
next week it happens.
Next week it happens.
When
In
pigs can
Arizona,
fly.
The whole fucking landlocked of Arizona. Yes, that's when it will happen.
Yeah. If Sharknado ever happens.
Oh my god, imagine Rattlesnake Nado. Rattlesnake Nado.
I would kill myself. I'm scared of fucking scorpions. God's sake. Rattlesnakes. Fucking.
Oh my god.
You could probably hear that
that'd
from a
be
mile away.
Terrifying.
Why do I feel
it
like?
would sound like death.
Can you think about this? Some producer's listening to this podcast like one day, and he's gonna be sitting at the desk just listening to podcasts, and he's gonna be like, "Rattlesnake NATO, sci-fi. We have a premise.
Trademark.
Trademark that shit. If someone
Trademark.
makes that, we will fucking sue."
No. if you just want to make the idea, just come over to us, write us a nice check. Nothing too crazy. A very reasonable guy. Just write me a nice check. Talk it out.
And then if you get sequels,
Totally got it.
If you want sequels, we got you.
If you want sequels, just write us a nice royalty thing.
We got this. We've lived in Arizona long enough. We know how to talk about animals.
I don't need a lot. Just need a little bit.
So, but do you know who does have a lot of money?
Fucking Disney.
Yes, you know what topic I'm getting into. Disney has taken control. Disney has taken control of all Hulu. Yeah. Now, I think we said this back during the streaming that we thought this was going to happen.
I think like 2 episodes ago.
Which is crazy. That was only a couple weeks ago, and it's finally here. I'm not mad with this one though. I'm
not mad. I definitely foresaw it.
I think
it definitely was gonna happen.
Yeah.
If I was gonna be mad, I would have been mad earlier.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with this. A lot of people are saying Disney's a monopoly. The thing is, they can't buy anything else big again. Like as of right now, they can't. Because it was, they almost didn't get Fox because they were looking into it. Will it be a monopoly?
Yeah.
And they didn't even get all of Fox still. They got all the movie assets of it, and like Hulu, of course, and it's Hulu's claims.
Yeah, but I mean, you still have a lot of big companies still making.
You do.
Movies.
I mean, but it just sucks because now it takes out Fox, which is putting out 12 films a year, and now they're only going to be putting out 6.
Yeah. But I mean, hopefully that just I highly doubt it, but hopefully it means that it's going to be better quality.
I think so. I mean,
as long as they don't start firing, because no matter all of their employees.
Fox would have been sold no matter what.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who it would have been. Would we be calling Warner Brothers a fucking monopoly now? Would we be calling Comcast a monopoly now? No. Well, probably actually, yeah. Disney knows what they're doing. They wanted these properties. They got them.
They're just setting it up for just world dominance on the streaming service aspect. Like
that's what they want.
That's what they want. They want total control of it.
So here's my thing. I bet. I'm not gonna bet it. I guess 10 years from now, Netflix won't be a thing.
I've talked.
I know we've talked. This. Yeah, I don't think we've talked about it fully on depth on a conversation on this yet, but
it's done.
Like they're in debt.
Netflix is.
I don't want them to be because they have like Ozark, Stranger Things. They have a lot of good content.
Yes, but it's just like how so many other markets, like the biggest one that's really really easy to look at is the gaming market and the gaming industry. Big companies go out of business and they end up selling all of their assets.
Yeah.
Which are game titles, and they get bonded up and they either get just fucking thrown away for whatever reason, or they get vaulted until a later day. This might be happening the same thing with Netflix. I don't want to say, like, saying that Netflix is completely done is very, very broad statement, but like, I mean, like,
you know what I can actually see happening with them though?
Like Disney is gearing up to just fucking put it in a chokehold.
I can see Netflix closing down their streaming service and just going straight towards like how Disney releases movies in theaters and just going towards an actual independent studio. Because they technically are right now, but taking rid of...
They could double down on that.
Because that's what it seems like they're trying to go off more.
Because they are also in billions of dollars in debt. The smart
sell off their assets.
Double down on just creating a movie studio,
because I guarantee
off all of your assets, which are all Stranger Things and all those things.
Disney streaming service bought fucking Stranger Things.
I mean,
it wouldn't be surprising actually.
Like, truthfully, it's not like an outlandish thing to think about because Disney just bought Hulu. They're gearing up for all of this new Star Wars shit, everything. I wouldn't be surprised if they literally put the whole thing in a chokehold and they buy. Or I wouldn't even say buy, strip would be a better way to put it, of Netflix's all Stranger Things, Ozark. Maybe not Ozark.
I think of it as like when people are playing fucking RPGs, when you say strip, and it's like Netflix just gets fucking like all their fucking assets get like blown out of a fucking wall. And you see like Ozark, Stranger Things, all, and you see fucking Warner Brothers running from one side, Apple, fucking Disney, and they're all just fucking stripping them apart, like grabbing, like all fighting and tearing over it. Yeah,
it's gonna be like I could honestly.
It's gonna be a massacre.
On that end, it could be. I honestly do think, now because you did just say that and you theorized that, I could see, like, if that would be probably the smart move, if I was Netflix, if I couldn't get bought by Facebook or any of this other big companies, to just get a nice check and get rid of your debt.
I could see Facebook buying them.
I could see Facebook buying them too.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Dude, fucking Facebook's even scarier now. Facebook's becoming a monopoly too.
100%. I think people don't talk about all these different companies. There's so many different companies elevating in different aspects, you know. I was talking with my friend about this. Do you think there's any chance that Disney could get like the DC universe or anything?
No.
No? Not 100% never happening.
I don't think so. They have way too much money, time invested in Netflix, and they have that too much going good for them. I don't know who would. Like, Disney is just...
Did you hear what also happened with Netflix, by the way?
Like, truthfully,
they lost the CW deal, so they don't have any of the CW shows anymore.
DC's kind of just like in a crazy-ass spiral thing. I don't know what's going on with DC. I honestly don't want to really talk about it because I don't even know where to start with
Speaking of
it.
DC real fast, did you hear that the Joker script got leaked?
Oh, God. Really?
Do you want to hear if it's good or bad?
We're on a podcast. There's too many people listening for me to give that judgment. We can't talk about that.
It's going to be R-rated, though. It is official. It will be R-rated.
Okay.
So anything that's with the Suicide Squad, Joker, Harley Quinn will all be rated R now. Joker film's going to be rated R. The Harley Quinn spinoff next year is going to be rated R. Suicide Squad 2 is going to be rated R. And then the team up, the Gotham City Sirens versus Birds of Prey will be rated R.
Okay. Here's my prediction. Because now that you just gave me all... If all that information you gave me and we got them... I'm always...
Shit could change, but that's what it is right now.
Shit can change, but you're really good with this information. If this happens, if they double down, what it seems like is that you're going to be going back to the original formula of what Dark Knight did great and start doubling down on what
I've always thought like these cinematic universes. Okay, if you have certain characters that are rated R, just do them rated R.
Well, not just so much rated R, but if you have 3 movies that are dramatic, great action, like good character development, blah blah blah, all these things that the Dark Knight did great. Like, let's be real, like that movie was amazing. Like even all
the whole trilogy.
The whole trilogy was awesome, but the second one in particular, everybody that was the most memorable Batman.
Is it a little weird because I like that one probably the least out of all?
Really?
I think it's the best made one. And I think Joker is the best performance out of all 3.
Okay.
But I saw that film not in theaters. I actually saw it all backwards. So I mean, this is weird. So I saw Dark Knight Rises in theaters.
Okay.
I saw them all, of course, like leading up to Dark Knight Rises, but I had seen Dark Knight after the hype. So I heard best fucking movie ever made.
Okay.
So gruesome. And then I saw it and I'm like, it was good, but it has grown on me. Like, yeah. I think it's a very well-made film, but I would prefer to watch Dark Knight Rises or Batman Begins,
for sure.
Personally.
It's all preference. Mm-hmm. But
and anyone who shits on me, I have a fucking Joker painting in my room.
Being, those movies were like
the pinnacle of DC.
Yeah.
The peak.
Like, name me anything that stack up against those movies.
In the last couple of years, nothing. Nothing's close to it from DC-wise.
Not including Batman movies. Name me any DC movie that comes close to what those movies did.
There's nothing. Nothing. I mean, some people will probably try and throw Wonder Woman, but I won't. Wonder Woman's third act fall. I think Wonder Woman's third act is weaker. But I think Wonder Woman is the best film that they've made since.
Yeah, but it still doesn't. But even then, that's me comparing Endgame to Infinity War. They're two different movies.
Yeah, they're completely two different films.
Like, if I can't compare those two movies, then you can't compare those.
It's a great double feature, though.
It is. It's a great. But one is like super like.
I do like what DC is doing right now, though.
Yeah.
And I like now that they're kind of focusing not on building a world, but building like worlds inside those. Like Shazam, they're building Shazam's world up.
Yeah.
They're building Wonder Woman's world up. Aquaman, same thing. I don't know what the fuck they're doing with Man of Steel and shit, but
yeah. If they just do like certain movies right, like if maybe they can just do like a good balance, like a yin and a yang. Like obviously Shazam and Wonder Woman, like those are like two superheroes that are like super kid oriented. Like they love them.
Dude, it's so funny. There's parents freaking out about Shazam and how it's not a kid's film.
Really?
Okay, I would argue that it's a kid's film. Some people will be like, no,
but
would
you argue that Wonder Woman is?
No. I
So-
think Wonder Woman's a little bit more... Okay, Shazam's a little more fucked up than Wonder Woman. You see demons ripping off people's heads.
Oh, and Shazam?
Yeah, because they have the 7 deadly sins in it. So, I'm
See,
not... I know
still
you
have
haven't
not
seen it, so I'm sorry.
It's okay.
But, I mean... I think that kind of gets your attention a little bit more. That now that you know
Well,
the 7 deadly
honestly,
sins are in it.
I think I just need to start like watching them more.
Here's a moment. I'm gonna tell you this. There's a moment where the 7 deadly sins kill a bunch of humans in just a boardroom, and it's like horror-esque. The guy who made this film did the second Annabelle, so like I can totally see why he got this film. Aquaman, same thing. There are horror moments to it. It's not for kids. I mean, kids could watch it. They'll just be a little freaked out. Wonder Woman, the war aspect is a little darker.
Yeah,
I
it's
like
a
it
little bit more
still.
gritty.
I think she is a brilliant, like, inspiring hero for younger females and stuff. And even kids, you know, she kind of inspires me. Like, I like these heroes that inspire. Like, you know, I like when movies can kind of infuse that, and I do like that Wonder Woman was the first woman superhero to get her own film.
Yeah. Maybe it's just more teenage movies. I'm not sure. It's like you can have, like, I don't know. See, I'm not sure. Like, they're just, hopefully they're, I just want DC to make good movies.
I do too.
I want them to make them.
On the topic of DC, I want to talk about something.
Dark Knight.
Well, we're talking about fucking Batman right now. Okay, so Robert Pattinson, it's not official, but he is probably going to be our next Batman. I am in love with this choice. It's hard for me to say this because I know there are people who still think of him as the sparkly vampire. That was 10 years ago. Fuck you. I'm sorry, but fuck you. Like, you are being very one-minded because we all have that one part of our lives that no one wants to talk about. I've fucking dated people that I don't want to remember.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We all have done something or been a part of something. Twilight was his thing. He's not going to shit on Twilight publicly because that gave him money to go work on independent features.
Not only that, but it was a very successful 3-movie
And you know what I've noticed?
trilogy.
The people that I've talked about with Robert Pattinson who still shit on him. Now, if you've seen...
But why, though?
So here's my thing.
Jesus.
If you've seen the 3 films or like you're more just open-minded in general, I'm not going to shit on you. But if you've seen those and you're trying to be open-minded, you're like, I'm not sold on it, I just need to see him in the role. Fine. But if you're sitting there making fun of him, like
he's just a sparkly vampire.
That, or I heard someone say he's too skinny. It's called working out.
Yeah, it's also like it's called acting. And
Did no one ever see Cabin in the Woods with Chris Hemsworth? He was tiny in that film before Thor.
Yeah,
he was
tiny.
Like,
it's called a contract. There's certain things in the contract.
And personally, he doesn't have to get that big. I mean, it's a younger Batman. Yeah. He just needs to get a little bit, like a little bigger.
He just needs to look like Tyler.
He has the jawline.
Like Tyler Durden, I would say.
Yeah, he kind of dude. Doesn't he kind of look like
Tyler, like Tyler Durden was not like a big muscular dude, but the dude was like fucking cut.
I will say though, he kind of looks like a younger Ben Affleck, and in a weird way, I can kind of see Pattinson looking like a younger, like Bruce Wayne, because that's what they're going after.
I mean, yeah, I could see it if they like both grew out.
So I just want to say this: if you are on the fence with this, I don't say anything until you see these 3 films of his. I don't even care if you like the films. Just watch his performance. First film is Lost City of Z. He has a supporting role in there. It's with Charlie Hunnam. It's one of the best films of the last probably
movie.
It was awesome, wasn't it? It kind of reminded me of like classic Hollywood films, but like modern day.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the ending was a little rushed, but besides that, he was excellent in it.
Yeah.
Charlie Hunnam was really good too. Tom Holland was too. Spider-Man-esque.
It's like a movie where you just kind of have to sit down and just know that like you have to just pay attention to
I didn't even know he was in the movie.
Like chill around for the long, like just watch it, sit on the couch, and go along for the ride. Maybe smoke a bowl or something.
Yeah. The next one's Good Time. Good Time. He should have been nominated for an Oscar and probably won that year. A24 really didn't push that film at all for marketing, but it is probably his best performance. It's one of those performances like how Jake Gyllenhaal camouflages and becomes a chameleon in a lot of his movies. Yeah. He did that in this movie. And then a movie that came out this year by A24 as well is a space film called High Life. And watching that film, I thought it was good. I'm not going to say I loved it. I'm a little bit disappointed in it. But his performance in it solidified him for me as top 5 actors working today. So my top 5 actors actually right now would probably be Joaquin Phoenix, Gyllenhaal, DiCaprio, Hardy, and Pattinson now.
Wow.
And that, I mean, it rose after High Life just because of how well he is of infusing himself into these different roles. But please watch those 3. If after that you're still like, I just need to see him in the role, fair enough. But if anyone calls him a sparkly vampire, I will. Like, my mom said something funny. She was like, wow, he went from a sparkly vampire to a bat. And I was like, okay, as a mom, like, that's a cute thing for you to say.
That's a funny mom joke.
But I'm curious. I also really like the director on it because he did all the Planet of the Apes films.
Oh, which have been great.
Yeah. And he said that this film...
That could be like, ooh, I can get behind that.
And he said this Batman film will be a gritty detective noir style Batman. Like, actually him solving a mystery. Penguin and Catwoman are going to be the main villains, but there will be 5 other villains in it. My predictions, Hugo Strange, Victor Zsasz, because Victor Zsasz is going to be in Birds of Prey, so he's already getting introduced to the world.
Definitely Riddler.
And Clayface. Or Hush.
I say Riddler.
Riddler's another good one. And also Court of Owls. I've never read the comics, but the looks of them look cool. I do want to say I want Azrael in the story eventually.
Azrael would be okay, but I really want
not in this one yet. But
I really like the
Riddler.
I really want to see the Riddler done correctly.
Not Jim Carrey.
Like, just like give me like.
Who would you want?
I don't know, but like it needs to be a good Riddler.
You know who would have been a really good Riddler?
Just like you played the Arkham games.
Yeah.
Anybody that played the Arkham games, like if they could get like a Riddler like that, except a little bit more grittier. Oh,
which that's what they're going for.
Awesome.
They're going for a gritty Batman. Which
I don't understand. Okay, anybody.
It won't be R-rated, right, but I think it'll be pretty close.
Cool. Anybody listening to this right now that doesn't seem like that's like sounds like an awesome Batman movie. Get out of here.
Get the fuck out.
Get out of here.
Get the fuck out.
Great.
I do want to hear you guys' suggestions in the comments. Like, do you guys like Robert Pattinson? Are you guys excited for this Batman film? Are you? I mean, Reeves and Pattinson alone. Reeves in general got me excited for the project.
Well, just like the characters, like they're finally like they're bringing out different Batman characters.
Which again goes to my thing. I like that DC is focusing on. We're gonna focus on Batman's world. We're gonna flesh that out. We're gonna go focus on Superman's world next. Probably flesh that out. Flesh these characters out, and then put them together.
Yeah.
That makes more sense because then you're not focusing in this big team up film. Oh, we gotta let people know who Aquaman is. We have to let them know who Wonder Woman is.
It creates a stronger bottom foundation to just create a nice pyramid. Which you need.
You look at Marvel. I know they don't want to copy Marvel, but Marvel got a winning streak, so just do it. Personally, I grew up with DC heroes more than Marvel.
Yeah.
That's just the truth. I've always been more interested in them. I'm not going to say they're the best. And also, speaking of Marvel, I wanted to give a little bit of shout out. We will be giving away a copy of Captain Marvel on Blu-ray. Best way to win that is to hashtag this show, screenshot that you either follow us or rated us on iTunes, or the same thing on Spotify, or if you watch us on YouTube. I want you guys to screenshot that, post a picture on Twitter, and have the hashtag The Good Boys and Captain Marvel. And Captain Marvel. And then tag me at Pope the King. I will be picking that out once Captain Marvel comes out. I always got to do the giveaways, you know? I always got to do the giveaways. But before we started filming this, there was something that we were talking about. We went and got food before this podcast. We were talking about Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Now, first, I want to say rest in peace to our buddy, the Hound. One of our favorite characters.
I mean, saw it coming.
I know, we all knew. I know you didn't love the Clegane Bowl as much as I did, but the way he went out within the fire, I thought was perfect. For his character, and I love when his eyes got pressed in, and he's just like you just see in his face, just fucking die.
Yeah,
it was
like, what the fuck is going on?
He was. It's not hard to say. He was our favorite character, pretty much. Him and Arya.
Yeah,
best dynamic throughout the whole show.
Favorite duo by far. If there's any two characters I wish I could see more of their adventure. By far, those two.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole road trip
with season 4. Yeah, after the Red Wedding.
Yeah, just like the whole thing. Some just on foot, just
which that's still why season 4 is my favorite season.
Yeah,
because of that relationship.
And I've always said like my 2 favorite seasons are either 3 or 4. Like
because of them.
But like there's such good like things where you're just like I want to see more of that, and you just don't.
Mm-hmm. He plays it so good, dude. But we're going to talk about this episode. So here's the thing. There's a lot of controversy going in here, and there's actually a news thing that I threw in here that there's a Game of Thrones petition to remake the whole season. 500,000 signatures on this. Now, if you sign that, you're fucking stupid. I'm sorry. 500,000 signatures for a petition. So I'm just going to say this. There was a petition to remake The Last Jedi. There's been petitions to make... There's a petition to get rid of Robert Pattinson as Batman. He's not even fucking officially casted. Here is my thing with this whole situation. It is the creator's choice and the creator's vision. You can't... If you want to remake something, go write fan fiction. That's what the girl did for Twilight with 50 Shades, and you saw how that went. You have your voice to opinion. If you don't like Game of Thrones right now, I'm totally fine with it. But you also have to be open-minded that there are people who like this season, and like you don't hate me because I like this season. I understand why you don't like it. You disagree with me. I disagree with you a lot of things. I think this is one of the best episodes of the season. You think it was one of the worst.
Not one of the worst. Just the way it ended. Like, this is... Okay, let's get into this episode real quick.
Okay, can I say this, though, before we get into it? Again, we're still friends. Anyone who didn't like this episode, we don't hate you.
No.
If you like this episode, awesome. More power to you.
I still like Game of Thrones.
But I still think the one thing you and me totally agree on with the last two seasons, there should have been more episodes.
Yes, I agree.
It is too pacely rushed. The pacing is horrible. Yeah. It's very rushed.
It's our common ground. It's
literally
just that.
I think we all think the last season should have been all about the White Walkers, and this season should have been all about Cersei.
Yeah.
Tell me your thoughts.
Okay. So, I've told you, I don't hate the last episode that just happened. It was a good episode. Had a great cinematography, like you said. Seeing the dragon go off like that was insane.
Drogon. I like how they didn't show Daenerys on the dragon anymore. It was just like she was the dragon.
Yeah.
Like, it was cool. Again, cinematography was awesome.
Yeah. From like the reason why, like, it was brutal. Like, I started watching Game of Thrones because it was brutal. And mostly, obviously, because of the character development. I wouldn't be sticking around for 8 seasons so long if the character development was
And that's the thing. I'm not there's people who really like Game of Thrones action, and there's people who like the character interactions. I think we're more character interactions.
I agree, which is why I think it's kind of crazy how you like this episode so much. Because all of these characters that we love so much, that have literally lasted so long, it seems like their story and their character came to an end. Abruptly, and it was very anticlimactic. I had like no like savoring moment of like, damn, like this is the end forever for this character. Like this is like the end for the Hound.
No, it is. So the reason it made me fulfilled in some of those aspects. So the Hound, I felt, was the best arc throughout the whole show at this point, honestly, because my goodbye moment with him is when he told Arya, "You don't want to go this way. You don't want to end up like me." And I like when she turns around, instead of saying the Hound, she goes, Sandor.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Calls him by his first name.
And I think just smile on him. I got teary-eyed. I did get a little teary-eyed in that just because I love the Hound so much. And I knew going that direction, he's dead.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to... The thing about Game of Thrones is the earlier seasons built me to any character can die at any moment in any abrupt way.
Yeah.
I think that's why I'm kind of conditioned to this, is that I mean, we knew Cersei was going to die. We knew Jaime was going to die.
Yes. But
I don't like how they died, but
that's what
I still think it's fine. I'm not...
But that's my biggest thing. Any character can die at any moment. That's obviously the whole thing with Game of Thrones. Can't get attached to any characters. I get that. This character has been... Two of these characters have been...
You're talking about Jaime and Cersei.
Yes. Have been such major characters and major plots and have had such a major role.
Jaime's had an arc where we went from hating him to loving him.
Yeah, there's like so many things with these characters, and like the climax and the conclusion for their characters was so unsatisfying, and it left me so bitter because of it. Because I literally watched how many years of this show, like how many hours I've spent watching like slowly this character develop that I like so much and love so much, to only have them get kind of shit on in a way where there's like, all right, well, that's the end for that character forever.
So
like I won't ever see him ever again.
So Jamie's ending I'm fine with because he always wanted to die within the arms of someone he loved.
I get
Cersei.
that.
I was really happy Euron did not kill him. I was about to be so fucking mad if Euron killed him. I was so happy Jamie killed him. And I just love how Euron died.
Yeah.
He goes, I killed fucking Jamie Lannister.
Yeah.
And it was good for his character because that is him, but I was glad he killed him. I don't mind the ending. I think Cersei got off way too easy.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm not too mad about it.
People trying to go after it, and none of them succeeded.
I'm not too mad about that. Because in that moment, I did feel a little bit sympathetic for her. I mean, there have been moments where I felt the shaming moment was still very sympathetic. Again, it goes back to this season should have been 10 episodes to further out and not feel rushed on anything. The one thing I think we're going to talk about is Daenerys turning everyone, destroying. You thought it was predictable. I like that it happened. I wanted that to happen.
Anybody that knows, knows.
Dude, people will argue with you. There's people who freak out that she's not, that she turned evil. I'm like, that was the fucking point.
Anybody that knows like the
Targaryen
lores and backstory and like the whole family tree of all this shit, the Targaryens are literally exactly that.
You know, people
have always this family tree has notoriously gone mad and crazy.
People were giving Jon Snow
the three-eyed raven is even Targaryen.
Yes. People were giving Jon Snow shit for not just giving her dick, because it would have been over. She would not have killed everyone if she just got dick. Kind of true. I like this episode. Next episode, I'm kind of just riding with it now. I'm not. And I think that's how everyone should be.
Here's like the thing. This is the last episode, the conclusion, the very last episode, and I do not really care. I am not like biting my nails. Like the cliffhanger did not.
To be honest,
me wondering, like,
I think we all kind of know how it's gonna end.
True.
You know, but Jon or Arya is gonna end up killing her. Done.
Okay. Prediction, because it's probably not even news to anybody.
We're not talking about who's on the throne because I already told you.
Yeah.
I kind of.
It's not even.
I have a feeling on that
it's
one.
Not even probably a clue to most people now, but like the last person that.
Well, actually, by the time someone watches this, the Game of Thrones is done. We premiere this on Monday, so
yeah.
Fuck it, let's talk about it.
Well, yeah, Arya's definitely gonna kill.
Really, I think it's Jon.
Danny.
Jon didn't get to kill the Night King, so I think Jon is gonna kill.
Yeah, but that'd be pretty badass for our girl Arya to kill.
Oh, I want her to kill her. I want it. But I think knowing Jon, I really did like Kit Harington's acting in this. I thought everyone's acting in this episode was amazing.
Hated Jon Snow.
No. Just his reaction, like when Grey Worm fucking threw the spear.
Oh, wait, so you're talking about his acting or his
acting?
Character?
I'm not talking about his character. Okay. His acting.
Sure.
Same with Daenerys. Awesome. Like when she's talking to Tyrion and when he's like, you have a betrayal, and she like her eyes, like everything. Yeah. Varys dying, and I like how Tyrion had to say goodbye.
I hate how.
Well, you hated how that, but I liked how the dragon came in. Like,
that was creepy because like all you saw was like a little bit of shadow, and then you saw like small features and like.
And Tyrion's goodbye with his good friend. I mean,
but like his good friend. How is like that's my another biggest fucking gripe with this like show.
I love how Varys.
I hated that. How is someone supposed to be has literally survived based only on his wit and his knowledge from the first season up until now and supposed to know, and I quote, I drink and I know things. He betrays his only and his best friend. And he did not see it coming.
And he didn't. And that I did. I will say Peter Dinklage was awesome in this episode too, with acting wise. Like when he's walking through the whole thing. I have
nothing wrong with the acting.
It's just the story. It's the script. You have an issue with the script.
I have the biggest issue with the script, and a lot of people obviously agree with me because there's this obviously a petition. With how many signatures? Obviously,
but you're not gonna go fucking sign it.
I'm not gonna sign it because I'm obviously not dumb.
Yeah, it's
actually, I'm sorry.
They're not dumb.
You guys aren't dumb. Whoever listens to this, you guys aren't dumb. I just know, like exactly, you gave the example. There have been multiple petitions that have always been around. It's majority of time not going out.
And that's the thing. There are half the audience loves this, half of them don't.
I don't, but
that's fine.
I know.
I love this season.
I don't like this season.
I love this season. I will still say I get everyone's problems with it.
Yeah.
But at this point, after last season, I was kind of like, I know what we're getting into. Because personally, I thought last season was poor. I thought it was just fine.
Yeah.
That moment when they went across the wall was one of the most boring episodes I've ever watched, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That should have been the Avengers going up against the fucking White Walkers. And it was them sitting in a fucking middle of the water.
With White Walkers just standing there.
And coincidentally, a fucking 3 dragons come to kill him.
Yeah. And one of them dies.
Yeah.
And like that whole...
heartbreaking moment.
Yeah,
but
the whole... like them pulling the dragon out and then them ending it that way was fucking insane.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was great.
I'm actually really excited for the prequel series since it won't be based on any of the books, and it'll be based on old mythology lore that people just want to learn about. And George R. R. Martin is I'm pretty sure, a big part of it. So I'm actually kind of excited for these prequel series that they're developing.
Is it going to be
thousands of years before?
So before the Targaryen or the Targaryens.
So what I've heard is that they're planning on doing a movie about the Dragon Wars, which I think the Dragon Wars should be a movie. That should be a movie. That shouldn't be a show.
That'd be pretty. Actually, no, I disagree.
No, like a trilogy, of movies.
I disagree. That's where I disagree with you.
Yeah, they don't have the budget. The pet ghost, so I don't trust them.
You never know. If they can just get some actors and some directors to literally buckle down with a pretty lengthy ass contract.
True.
And be like, hey, we're gonna pay you out, and it obviously the fan base is here to stay.
You know what I really like too?
The
all these
money
actors, how big they've grown.
That's my whole thing.
And I'm so excited to see their careers after Game of Thrones too.
Obviously, like now, Game of Thrones is a solidified. Like, if you are an actor,
you want to be a part of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, and if you're part of Game of Thrones, after you leave a Game of Thrones for whatever reason, if you have that on your resume, people are gonna want to use you on their set.
Because they want to have that thing in their thing. Peter Dinklage, Game of Thrones.
Or just like I worked, or was like I was an actor or whatever on Game of Thrones. People want.
I
it's
saw
a great thing for your
saw
resume.
a fan casting for Norman Osborn for the MCU. Do you know who someone put? Jamie Lannister. He'd be pretty fucking good. Norman Osborn. I could see him pulling it off. I do want to say this though about Game of Thrones. They are doing this Star Wars series, and I know we kind of mentioned talking about like, people are now worried about this. I'm honestly not. I think they gave us these creators. They might have rushed through the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, but
depending on who you are.
But they're trying to wrap it up,
and they want to move on.
Yeah.
But they gave us 6 seasons that were fucking fantastic. I trust them in Star Wars still.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: they're not directing them; they're just writing them. That's my thing, and they're completely different than any other series. It's rumored to be Old Republic. There's so much stuff you can go into Old Republic,
as long as they do exactly what they did for the first 1 through 6, because honestly, 1 through 6 are the best subs or seasons.
Do you think any Game of Thrones actors move over to that series?
Maybe.
I think Kit Harington, probably.
Probably not.
Oh, really? I think he is one.
You think so?
I think he is.
Has he showed interest?
Yeah, someone interviewed him, and he said he was. A lot of these actors have actually been asked to do certain ones. Davos was one. Davos was like, I was watching a podcast, and they were interviewing him, and he's like, I have to ask about Star Wars. He's like, well, no fucking shit, I would love to be a part of Star Wars. He's like, George Lucas actually came to the set a bunch of times, and I don't remember, he asked me something, and I was like, well, no shit.
Honestly, I would love to
like being a
that.
wise old Jedi.
Like, I would really, really, really like to see that. Like, if obviously you can't have the whole cast come on.
No, it'd be like too weird.
It'd be way too like. Wait a second.
Because like Rob Stark's gonna be the next main character for one of the Marvel films coming out soon, The Eternals. Really? Yeah, which is gonna be really cool. Yeah. Which I'm calling it now. He's the next Chris Evans. Like after how Chris Evans blew up in that Captain America role, probably this is gonna be his like Captain America.
I agree.
Because a lot of people know him, but like they don't know him yet. But I think there are a couple move over. Kit Harington, Davos, obviously Emilia Clarke's already in the world as within Han Solo's movie. She's one of the main characters in there, and I think it's rumored she's getting a spin-off show for that, which is cool. I'm kind of fine with that. It would have been cool to see her with the lightsaber.
Yeah, it would have been
Maisie
really
Williams
cool.
playing Arya. That'd be a cool lightsaber.
Yeah.
The Hound.
But then again, it'd be so
Dude,
weird.
do you know who the Hound could play? Darth Maul's brother. That big motherfucker.
Yeah. I could see it.
There's so much you could do. I'm not any creator, like creators, there's tons of movie people who have made movies and then they've made shit.
Yeah.
Like have you ever seen the movie Spotlight?
No.
Okay, the guy who wrote that script used to write Adam Sandler movies, and that film won Best Picture. people can change. Just saying. So let's all keep an open mind. Let's all be fun. And if you know someone who loves Game of Thrones, be respectful to them.
Yeah.
If you know someone who didn't like the season, be respectful to them.
Question. Do you think they'll make a Game of Thrones game?
Eventually.
What do you think what it'll be?
If it was during this, like, with these actors, it would have been made now. It will be made probably in a weird... I could honestly see it being when Aegon Targaryen, the Mad King, was on the throne.
Some pretty crazy shit. It'd be like the big all-out war.
Like a siege type thing.
Yeah.
I could see them doing an MMO.
That'd be pretty cool.
Where you could have different, like, you could be a Varys, you could be a Littlefinger, you could be an Arya. Could you be a No-Face?
No-Face.
How have we not seen her cut a face off?
It's probably gonna happen this.
I don't think they're gonna do it.
See, that's also like I can't keep on talking about Game of Thrones because it's ending. There's nothing you can do.
No, there can't.
I can do
like again, I'm just along for the ride now.
Well, that's why.
Let's see how it goes.
That's why I can't say like why haven't I seen this? Why hasn't this happened? Blah blah blah. I'm clueless at this point. Hope is lost.
I'm really sad.
I'm not gonna see.
Are you kind of sad that it's ending already? Like, doesn't it feel weird that this show's been on for so long and it's finally ending?
It sucks that it's ending because I feel unsatisfied.
Mm-hmm. That's why I'm reading the book now.
Yeah, that's why I'm just going to read all the books.
Might as well.
Like, if I'm not gonna get my satisfaction from watching it, I'll just read the books.
Yeah.
Like, I read
Has there ever
already.
been a TV show where you felt satisfied after it ended? Like, for me, it's Breaking Bad. It's the main one.
Yeah, for sure. Like, honestly, I get the whole stigma of like, oh, not any great show has never had a great ending.
Mm-hmm.
I get that.
I think Breaking Bad, I think there's like a handful of great endings to television.
There's very few handfuls.
Most last seasons kind of suck. Dexter
Yeah,
was probably the most disappointing.
I would agree with that.
Holy shit, that ending sucked. Like, how?
I don't know.
Oh, man, that's so much. But again, rest in peace to the Hound. Yeah, cunts. Best fucking thing ever. Should we go serious or exciting news? Next.
Let's do some good news.
Okay. Because obviously the main topic we have is the worst place to be snapped, so we can kind of end on a happy thing once we get to the serious part. Sony and Microsoft working together now. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. I know we kind of mentioned it during the video game rant that we want these developers to be working more with cross-platform, and I think this is kind of the early stages for that.
I 100% agree. The little note I mentioned in here was that it's like the beginning of something amazing for a community that's been around for a very long time.
And I think it's something we deserve. Like, for me, I've never understood...
Well, just like the whole thing of like esports is like sort of is a thing right now.
Mm-hmm.
This is just one way for it to grow. And I'm not like saying that I'm going to be, or actually, fuck that. Yeah, I support it. Like if you're passionate about honestly anything, any shape or form, as long as you're just doing something positive, yeah, I 100% fuck with you and I support you 100%. Chase your dream. I think it's awesome. I think this is just the start and like the best way for a community like this to get the attention that it needs.
They do deserve
Yeah.
it. And I
Just
think
as
this kind of
long-
helps because I know you and me have talked about video game market crashing.
Yeah,
And I think this definitely helps it a lot.
absolutely. Because
It's always going to be a competition.
absolutely, but that's also like a shitty thing about like the competition. Like competition on a small one, like me and you level, like over games, that's one thing. But a competition level where
Businesses.
I don't think it's a smart idea because you have governments and politics getting involved of saying like how it, like if video games are like a threat to child youth. That should be something where you guys should bond together so you can show like, no, it's not. This is just for the love and entertainment of what we have.
Yeah.
And then
Which that just pisses me. I mean, we're gonna get into a government issue in a second, but
and then like the whole like demonetizations of microtransactions again, like it needs to like stop. It needs to be. I feel like this is a way for it to become a little bit more. I don't want to say restricted, but a little bit more monitored. I would say more of quality control, and also you're gonna be able to have a full ecosystem of players playing on different platforms.
Well, and eventually there's gonna come
Really cool.
a console that's better than both,
Yeah.
and it's gonna have every fucking game.
Yeah. But I'm curious where that lies in the sense of a monopoly. Like, is it a universal just game? Like, is that a possible thing? But I don't think it would be because of that reason. It'd just be a monopoly, and you also have to remember, like, exclusives. Like, that's also like.
Which that's my thing. I think
it's going to be
for businesses. Businesses are always going to be fighting for who's going to be top dollar. I'm glad they're working together. My biggest thing for video game companies though is this:
keep your exclusives.
Keep your exclusives.
If
I'm going to buy an Xbox and a PlayStation just to play your exclusives, I will.
Yeah.
I will. Just make good exclusives.
Just make good
because
exclusives.
The thing is, Xbox, the reason I have not played a lot of my Xbox One this year, well, I've started to now because it is better. So if I need to play a Rage or a Division, I'm going to get it for that. There's not been that many good exclusives.
Yeah. Like
PlayStation, God of War, Spider-Man, that Human Revolution, the robot one I heard was really good.
Whatever it may be. Like
Days Gone.
Fix Days Gone.
Still better than some games.
Better
than almost every exclusive that Xbox has had this year.
Anybody in the gaming industry on like that kind of level, I don't know.
Oh, we're taking this to another gaming industry. Make a Sunset Overdrive 2, make a Bulletstorm 2. There's tons of fucking games you could make.
But like, point being, let like all the other like small developers like Activision, EA, blah blah blah, all those guys. Let those guys create the bulk of the work. Double down on your exclusives because, like you said, if I'm gonna buy your console, I'm buying it to play that exclusive.
Why did I buy a Nintendo Switch? To play fucking Smash, to play Legend of Zelda,
to play everything else.
I'm not buying it to play Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, but it's cool to have those games get ported over, but you didn't buy it for that reason. Just double down on good exclusives.
I think that's what they don't get. Like,
that would be like, it will create such.
Have you ever bought a console for a game? Or like, has that ever influenced your?
Absolutely, 100%.
Like, why did I buy a PlayStation before the Xbox? Because I knew Last of Us 2 was going to be on this. Because I knew Uncharted 4 was going to be on it. Because I knew God of War was going to be on it.
Well, for me, personally, it was because of Infamous. Like, when it first came out.
Infamous is another one.
For me, it was more of, like, the lineup of, like, what was first.
What did Xbox have? Nothing.
Shit, nothing.
And that's my thing. What did they still have this console? Nothing. They had Gears of War. Good. Halo 5. Sunset Overdrive. Awesome. Underrated, though.
The thing with Xbox is what they have is like they have a. Well, I personally like the interface of the Xbox.
I like PlayStation more. I think it's a little bit more simplified, but that's because I really like the bless you the older Xbox Xbox 360 interface more than the one. I think the one is smooth, but I think the PlayStation does it. They both do different things, right?
Yeah. I just like the different like layers that Xbox has.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. We're gonna go serious now, though.
Okay.
We're talking about this abortion law.
Yeah.
We haven't really talked about anything super serious yet on this, and a lot of it just.
Anybody listening to this, and if you just don't want to listen to it, just click off.
Yeah, just for a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Just play this in the background or something.
Or just keep an open mind.
Yeah.
It's just more
like, if you believe in abortion, that's, like, whatever. You want to believe in it, like, that's your...
Yeah. And if you believe in pro-life, that's you. This is more of just talking.
I believe in... There's a lot of things that I think the government should legalize. Marijuana. A lot of drugs, to be honest.
Yeah,
people are going to buy them anyways.
A lot of psychedelics.
For me, it's like... People are going to buy them anyways. Just tax the shit out of them. Make money off it.
Portugal has it completely, it's not legalized, but decriminalized. Yeah. There's a lot of places.
So, on Wednesday, Alabama outlawed nearly all abortions with a prison term for doctors up to 99 years.
That's insane.
99 years. Now, there's a lot of things going on with this 11-year-old girl who was raped and is pregnant. And if she goes to another state and gets an abortion, then comes back, she can be arrested.
Which my thing is like, can an 11-year-old even give birth safely?
I think I was talking to my friend. I'm not 100% sure on this.
Safely?
It was like an 85% chance of not living.
What the fuck?
So, again, whatever it's a toughy subject. I'm on the thing where not everyone's ready to have a kid.
No.
And especially in this experience, she was fucking raped. Why does she want to have a kid that reminds her of that?
No, that's just like super. That's such a scarring instant.
And I think banning abortion sends people in the weird categories. Them drinking a bunch to try and kill the kid. You know, ways to kill the kid.
Well, it starts the whole like underground
Abortion.
ways of getting abortion.
Like, I mean, there's always every time the United States has outlawed, or any country has outlawed something, it always comes in.
It's always been resulting of a bad backlash.
That comes to the guns thing. People want guns to be banned. I don't think guns should be banned.
I don't think guns should be banned.
I think they should be a little bit harder to get.
I agree.
I don't, because here's the thing. I did a whole paper on this for college, and Australia banned guns. Guess who still has guns out there? Criminals.
Yeah. You're still going to find ways,
no matter what.
And like even like in New Zealand, like a mass shooting happened, and it has one of the most strictest like places to have gun laws.
Mm-hmm.
Like people find ways
to get a gun
of getting anything. London, for example, has all their guns banned, but they didn't ban knives apparently. And I don't.
There's a lot of
I guess there's a lot of crime happening where people are getting stabbed now.
That's worse than a gun. I would rather die from a gun.
I'd much rather get shot. Like I don't know what. I've never been shot or stabbed, but like I feel like getting shot is a lot better in some instances.
It's instant, you know.
Yeah, it's more of like fuck instead of like oh damn this knife is getting like oh.
It's going in me.
Yeah, like it's going in. Yeah, yeah. Like it's just.
It's again, crazy. But it goes to this abortion thing. This should be legal. How the fuck is this not? It is, whatever your thoughts are. Like, if you're someone who owns a hospital and you don't want abortions to be happening, that's your thing. That's your thing. You own the hospital. That's your thing.
But my biggest thing, and I understand, if you are religious, I understand this.
Yeah.
But in America... In the United States of America, there's a thing called separation of religion, church, and state. Simple as that. Why is there where does this law stem from? That is my biggest thing and my biggest question. Is this law stemming from a religious standpoint because it believes that you are getting rid of life? And mind you, something is not considered sentient in a few weeks. I cannot remember. I wrote a paper on stem cell research, and when they harvest the stem cells from the embryos that has only been conceived within 5 days, it's not considered sentient, which means it's just cells. It can't.
Mm-hmm.
Something is not.
I mean, there's always comes to certain things that
it doesn't have a nervous system. Basically.
Well, and for me, it's like there's certain things that like obviously like I think even states that do have abortion like
clinics.
Yeah. There are things where like we can't do it within. Yeah. We can't do it after a couple of weeks.
Yeah. And I completely understand that, and I'm not someone that's like you can have an abortion at 8 months. No,
for me, that's your judgment. Like whatever you want to do it.
Okay. No, see,
like,
that's the one part.
No. Well, I'm just saying like to where that late.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I like if here's my thing on this whole situation. Mm-hmm. And I'm someone that 100% believes in pro-choice. You cannot have... I feel like you can have an abortion, but not at a certain period of time where it now has a nervous system.
It's alive.
Where it's now...
No, and I agree with you on that.
That, like, if you get an abortion after it has a fully developed nervous system where it can feel for touch, smell, whatever it may be,
you're killing a kid.
Then I would consider then at that moment I would say yes, you are killing a human life and you are taking
that I agree with.
And at that moment, then sure, put whatever laws or whatever it may be onto that. But I feel like there should still be a window because obviously she's 11 years old.
Or just in general, there are so many people who've been raped and then get pregnant.
Like and there's some people that are like, yeah, I'm just gonna keep the baby. Cool, that is them. But there are a lot. But that's not everybody.
And not everyone's ready to have a kid.
But how are you going to restrict everybody to do this? I thought this is the United States. This is a freedom as country.
That's why people move here.
Exactly, to have the freedom and not to have the worry of something like this. Like,
It's depressing. It's fucking depressing. It's fucked up. It's everything. And I think you and me are literally on the same level on this. Is that
a lot. I would hope that a lot of people are,
and I hope so too. And I get it. However you grew up, it's. I'm not bashing people. Like I get
our friend Megan, and I don't mean to throw her out here and say this, but like she's a religious person, but even herself is like, this is a little too far. It's like my beliefs are my beliefs, but I also believe that
I'm religious. I'm fucking religious.
Are you?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
No, I'm religious, and I'm the same way with you. Again, when it's living, you're a fucked up person.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but when it's not even alive yet,
when you still have an option where like, yes, you can do this, and you're not doing anything harmful. If anything, you could just be adopting your embryo to a stem cell research, which also stem cells have the cure to cancer potentially, and also do wonderful things like replace neurons and can even help cure Alzheimer's. If you guys want to look into that, I highly recommend to it.
Or listen to that Joe Rogan stem cell podcast. That was really good too.
Yeah, that's actually where I got like I listened to it and I got inspired. I was like, all right, cool. Then later ended up writing a research paper on it. But like, it's just I just hope that it doesn't become anything bigger than it is now.
Me too.
Because it's scary.
It's 100% scary. I mean, it's gross and makes me think like, whoa, what else will people like try to go against now? There's certain things that the United States should just legalize, and if something sounds like a good idea, something sounds like a good idea. Yeah. Man, it's such fucking tough. It's fucking annoying. It's fucking horrible. It makes me sad.
Yeah.
It makes me sad for all this shit, man. This world is.
In the comments, please be
nice. I mean, like, we want to hear your opinion. Like, we're open to everything, and like hearing like whatever your pro is, like whatever you're a fan of. Like, that's your thing.
Yeah. In the comments, don't be hateful. If you're listening on YouTube, obviously, just try to at least find common ground with someone that you may not agree with. Talk it out in the comments, but don't be hurtful. Or just tell us your thoughts. This is a topic that I am very, very interested in.
I'm fascinated to see where it goes, and obviously we're gonna update if Alabama changes it, if they're not. Like, there's so much to
right
this.
now. This is a topic that I want.
I think people need to be. I think people need to know about this.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, because next week some fucking crazy thing's gonna happen, and this is gonna be all swept under the rug, and it's still gonna be going on, and it's not gonna be the topic of the news, and it's gonna be sad.
And then it'll come back with a fucking right hand hook to our fucking face.
Yep, 100%. Happy time now, somewhat. We're gonna try and segue into this. The worst place to be snapped. What happens in Infinity War is random people get snapped. 50% of humanity and the universe and everyone just living. 50%. If we were that 50% that got snapped and then got snapped back, where would the worst place to have been snapped at would be, and then to come back in that same area? I chose having sex with your spouse. You get snapped. 5 years later, you come back. Your spouse is with someone else, and you undust on that bed as they're doing it. It's pretty bad. It's pretty fucking bad.
Right about to take shit.
And then you stop, and you reappear, and there's someone else sitting there.
Could you imagine? Like, it's 5 years, so it could not even be your house. It could be a complete stranger.
It could be demolished.
Oh Jesus!
Airplane. You're the pilot. Get snapped.
Oh.
Everyone on the plane fucking. That's it. You crash land in the ocean.
Or what if, like, 5 years later the plane's not even there? So you just reappear in midair and just start free falling.
I need to know the logic behind this. Like, are they safe? Are they not? Like, did they think about this?
I don't know how.
Think about all the aliens. Think about the ones flying spaceships in space, and all of a sudden, oh, what happened?
Just all 50%.
Can you imagine the people who got dusted at the beach? Like, they just went in with the sand. Like, their loved ones didn't even get to pick it up. It's like you're picking up grains of sand.
Oh, well. It's like grains of sand of time.
Always. The Sands of Time. That Prince of Persia movie was underrated. Oh, that was a pretty solid movie. I miss Prince of Persia video games. A little bit. Any other place to be snapped at that's pretty bad? in the middle of watching Avengers Infinity War.
There's so many like endless possibilities.
There are, and I want to hear your guys in the comments. Of course, that's kind of why we brought this little subject up. I think that's kind of what we're gonna do each thing. We're gonna have like that one weird question where we're just gonna ramble through real fast and jump through it real fast, because this wasn't the main topic. I mean, the main topic was me fucking bitching you guys out about Robert Pattinson for a little bit, but
little sub mini
topic, of course. But we do have some viewer questions before we get ending into any of this. And always, if you guys want to leave us viewer questions, you leave them in the comments. Or I always do post the day before on my YouTube channel. I ask, what do you guys want to ask us? And we have some right now. What do you think of The Dark Knight Rises? Which is funny. We were actually just talking about that. I think it's underrated. People crap on it, and I love it. I think Bane's awesome. I think Tom Hardy's great in the role.
I think it's a great movie, period.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think Bane does go out like a little bit of a pussy, but whatever.
My only gripe with it was just, honestly, Bane. But besides that, I think it's a great movie.
Next one is, what is your favorite / worst cinema experience ever? So there's two. Favorite, probably seeing Avengers Endgame with an open crowd. Infinity War. Another one actually that was surprising was Deadpool. Had a really good crowd for the first Deadpool. Force Awakens. And honestly, Revenge of the Sith, seeing that in theaters was fucking great. Any movies that like stick out where you really like the first one? Oh yeah.
I saw that at the Harkin Cinema Capri over in Tempe.
Ooh, that's such a beautiful place.
That was pretty cool. Like people like dressed up.
Oh, you know what was a really cool favorite one for me too was I saw the first Avengers in a 4D theater, so the seats would move.
Oh,
and it was really unique. Worst cinema experience, any horror film.
Yeah, honestly, any horror film. The last horror film I saw, I can't remember.
You know what my favorite? One of the favorite times that we all went and saw a movie together was when we saw Lights Out. And I think you, me, and George were super into Game of Thrones. Like, that was when we were kind of getting into it. And she's holding the door, and we all go, hold the door, hold the door, hold the door. And I remember everyone was laughing so hard. We don't do that during movies. That was a perfect opportunity.
Honestly, that was such a long ago. That was such a little shit back then. And
we always were. We always were.
I feel bad for anybody that remembers that I was in that movie theater. I'm sorry.
Colin Cusack. Colin. The franchise you want to stop making films. I think Fast and Furious should have ended by now. And I'm a fan of it, but I think it should have ended after 7.
I would agree with that. Or Saw, if they miraculously come up with another one.
Did you not hear about it? Oh, you haven't heard about the new Saw movie they're making?
Are you fucking with me, or are you just...
No. I'm being serious. Do you want to know who's writing it?
Yeah.
Chris Rock. Writing the whole thing by himself. New concept for Saw.
What?
He's a giant Saw fan.
What?
And Danny McBride just wrote All Halloween. Jordan Peele is a comedic director who went to horror. I'm kind of for it.
I mean, I understand like the symbolic in that, or whatever. Mm-hmm. I'm so tired right now.
No, you're fine.
It's late for me.
But isn't it weird? I just wanted. Yeah. I forgot all about that to mention it to you.
Saw then for sure. Either Saw. Honestly, I'm a little bit biased, so I'm gonna say Fast and Furious. Okay. Because I'm curious to see what.
If there could be a horror film with the villain being a Disney character, what Disney character would you want to be the antagonist? That's a really fucking.
Wait, one more time.
If there could be a horror film with the villain being a Disney character, what Disney character would you want to be the antagonist? That's a really good question. That's probably Colin asked that. That's a really good question. Man, off the top of my head, Attila the Hun, right? Or what's the guys from Mulan?
Attila the Hun.
Yeah, dude, fuck. He would be scary. Imagine you're just a family running away from him.
Yeah, and the fucking snow.
He's one.
That'd be pretty crazy. I mean, it's
the Jaguar from Tarzan.
Let's be honest, it's Attila the Hun. He's a historical, non-fiction character.
Okay, here's a horror film. Sid, being one of toys in Sid's room for Toy Story.
That'd be terrifying.
Yeah, I think that would probably be mine then. Wally's one.
Malevolence.
They're making another one of those, a sequel.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
I like Malevolence, though.
She's pretty. And Angelina Jolie.
Well, like, it's just a good story, Sleeping Beauty, which is also a funny thing, because you have Sleeping Beauty and Snow White.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, think about that. What's the difference between the two?
Which one? Sleeping Beauty and Maleficent.
They're both sleeping princesses.
100%?
But I just like Sleeping Beauty's story better. It's a better story in my opinion.
Yeah. And then I'm going to choose one more question. We got a couple more. I'm just going to choose one more. If you... I don't get that question. Actor or actress you want to see in a Tarantino movie? Honestly, what? Who? Arya?
Yeah.
Oh, Maisie Williams. That would be good. I would love to see Chris Hemsworth in a fucking Tarantino film. I would love to see him or Chris Evans. I think I'd be fine. Oh shit, Robert Downey Jr. would be so good spewing out that dialogue.
Robert Downey Jr. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
I really like that choice. That's a good question.
I'm curious to see what he does now.
Well, by the time we film the next podcast, Once Upon in Hollywood, the premiere is in Cannes on Tuesday. So we'll know by the next time we record, there will be reactions to it. 2 hours and 45 minutes of that. Rocketman has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes right now.
Really?
Yeah, I got a standing ovation at Cannes.
Wow.
So I'm seeing it tomorrow. I'm really excited. I think my review will actually be up before this
standing
podcast.
Ovation.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fuck, dude. I'm excited for it. I'm really pumped for it. Of course, you guys will probably have seen my review by then. If not, I'll link it down below so you guys can see how excited I was about Rocketman. But that's where we're kind of going to end this episode of The Good Boys.
Too.
Oh, yeah, Godzilla 2. You're coming with me to see that.
Hopefully
you have it off. I hope to God you have it off.
What time is it at?
It's at a 7.
Oh, yeah, I'll have it off.
Oh, cool. And it's an Arizona Mills IMAX.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, yes.
Arizona Mills?
Not Mills, but the IMAX theater, dude.
Oh, no.
It's the IMAX theater. Okay, for you guys don't know, Arizona Mills is like the #1 kidnapping place in Arizona.
Right off the 10, which is straight shot highway to Mexico.
Yeah, but again, I'm excited.
It's so ghetto.
I'm just excited to see it because it's in the IMAX theater or whatever. So,
but yeah, the IMAX theater is actually really nice. But still, Arizona Mills. I haven't been to them all.
We'll survive. We'll survive.
Fine.
We'll be surviving. But guys, that's the end of the Good Boys podcast. Thank you guys again so much for watching this. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Check us out on Spotify or iTunes. If you guys want to follow us over there, if you guys want to save some data while you're driving around in a car, or maybe running around or something, we really appreciate doing this video for you guys. And of course, leave us down below your comments, viewer questions, and also make sure to keep in mind that Captain Marvel giveaway. I know some of you guys really like that film, and I want to be able to provide that with you guys when it does come out. We got some entertaining things going on. If you guys have any topics for us, please leave them down below as well. We are always looking for new topics. I wrote out a bunch of topics for you and me. And when next time we have Carlos and George on, dude, it's going to be fucking awesome.
Also, another thing, let us know if you guys are okay with the whole controversial topics.
Do you want more of them?
Yeah, if you're okay with it, if you want a little bit more of them.
Less of
it. If you just don't want a period, let us know because it is a controversial topic.
And it is tailored, like this. We do this podcast for you guys and for us. We just
more of a little bit of an
again thing. We started this podcast because we wanted people to hear our conversations, because we sit in a car for 3 hours talking and we're like, we wish we would record that. Well, now me and Tyler have a way to go back and listen to that. That's where we're gonna end this, guys. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and we're the Good Boys. See you later.